Be down to earth or be brought down. Today on Fortitude through Stoicism, and this is my 365-day journey of implementing the ancient philosophy of Stoicism into the life of this modern masculine man. I learned this lesson a long time ago. The quote today by Diogenes. Zeno has always said that nothing was more unbecoming than putting on airs, especially with the young. Socrates' famous letter to Demonicus, "To thine own self be true," later became a famous speech, but it holds a similar warning. Writing to the young man, Socrates advises, "Be affable in your relations with those who approach you, and never haughty, for the pride of the arrogant even slaves can hardly endure." So what are they saying here, right? You've seen examples of this in literature and obviously in movies where you have this brash, young, confident, overconfident guy who's taken down a peg or two by a much older, wiser man. It's a cliche, but it is a fact of life. People get ahead of themselves. And I know, my Lord, when I was in my 20s, I knew everything. You couldn't tell me something that I didn't already know. The whole life. Life has taught me many lessons since then. I'm a 46-year-old man. Been in combat, been around the world, businesses, bankruptcies, foreclosures, death. You name it, I've experienced it all. And the one thing that I'm absolutely confident in, finally, after all these years of wisdom, is that I know nothing. Even now. Every day is a lesson. Everything that I've learned up until now, I'm simply going to challenge tomorrow. Because there was a time that I thought I knew something, and I was wrong. So now I know that everything I know could be wrong. It must endure the test of time. Here's the thing, and again, I'm looking at Ryan Holiday, what he has to chime in here. Overconfidence is a great weakness and a liability. But if you are humble, no one will need to humble you. And it's a fine line. It really is. Confidence and overconfidence. We need a level of confidence to execute, especially in chaotic situations, especially in what I do. Because a lot of times I'm in a situation where no one knows what to do. And somebody's got to fix it. My humility has come from a lifetime of painful lessons. So where my confidence comes in is through experience. And again, I got to reflect on Plato and Aristotle. Plato talks about theory. Aristotle talks about experience and observation pointing at the ground. Everything that I have learned in life has come from experience and observation of those experiences. Partly because I was so stubborn that I would never take the face value of what someone was giving me in knowledge. I believe even knowledge must be earned, never given. And it's so hard, right? Because we want to pass on this knowledge to save others from steps that we've taken ourselves in the wrong directions. But the journey is the lesson. I have a business coaching client of mine, Brianna. She's a rock star. She really is. But I also see her weaknesses. She has some very, very, very big chinks in her armor, and she doesn't see them. And I realized that if I'm putting myself in her situation, I was very much her. People told me about those chinks. I didn't believe it, I didn't see it, and I kept moving forward until I got a sword through those chinks in the armor. Lesson learned. So with Brianna now, I will make a consideration, I will make a suggestion, and then I will leave it there. Because we've battled back and forth over the years, and there's been times that we've parted ways for periods of time because of that. Time has always told the truth, hasn't it? The wisdom of being an older man. But yet I know nothing. But I also do know that when someone's walking down a path that I walked and it was the wrong path, I do know that. But I also know that if I was walking down that path, there is no one that could tell me I was on the wrong path except myself. So they say that overconfidence is a weakness. But if experience is required for learning, and overconfidence gives you an overabundance of experience, which leads to wisdom, I contend, is it really a weakness? Is it really a weakness? Short term, sure. But in the long term, because if I look back at my life, 46 years old now, done a lot of things. I played way above my station. Way above my station. Because I had an overabundance of confidence. Had I not, I would not be in that arena. I would not have that experience. I would not build that resilience. I would not build that mental toughness. I would not build that emotional intelligence. So for me, my overconfidence has been one of my greatest strengths. Because I was always pretty much void of talent. It was only work ethic and overconfidence, truthfully, until I was there. Until I could actually be at that level. Before that, I believed that I could be. And truthfully, I probably shouldn't have been. But yet, there I was. And yet, there I am. And yet, now I remain. So, what I'm learning in philosophy, especially when I listen to other lecturers, is this is very much an individual journey. It's very much individual perspective. And the way that I see Stoicism is completely different than the way that others. I'm following this one guy, this one lecturer, BJ. He says that Stoicism is a coping mechanism. I see it as checks and balances, right? They say that Stoicism is about virtue, and virtue is derived through critical thinking and the justice scale. But for me, it's a little bit more than that. It's about control. And that's why I went down this path. I did not like an external factor to have the type of control that it had over me. My emotions. Whew, man, tough, because I am who I am. I'm passionate, I'm intense, I'm explosive. All of the things that have made me a very, very talented person in many, many aspects have also been a weakness and a liability in some. So for me, it's not a coping mechanism. It's more of a polishing rag on a stone, if you will, right? This is something that I'm using to polish my character. I have my own set of core values. I have my own 10 commandments. I have my vision, I have my mission. Stoicism is part of that. For me, it's the emotional control. It's the cutting of the external forces. It's the acceptance. I'm going to be the best that I can be, virtue, and I'm going to accept the outcome. It's not about happiness. Somebody said it was about happiness. My version of Stoicism is not about happiness. That's never the goal for me. Not once has that ever been the goal. Acceptance is the goal. Whatever that may be. Whatever this thing turns out to be. I accept. Amor fati. I love my fate. I accept my fate. That's what this is for me. And on that, I gotta get in the shower.